Chapter 1. How to be prepared for the lesson you will be teaching. Preparation is a key factor in teaching more effectively. Being prepared before you present your lesson to your students is essential. Teachers who are fully prepared beforehand will not only be more effective, but will notice fewer disruptions in their classroom. Prepare the lesson. Generally, the Sunday school administrator will supply the teacher with a quarterly or a curriculum, but this is not always the case. Some Sunday school teachers are left with the responsibility of coming up with their own material based upon a theme. Regardless, the Sunday school teacher should be able to put a lesson together that has been thoroughly researched and will capture the audience's attention when presented. Materials you will need to get started. 1. Quarterly or curriculum. 2. Bible. 3. Notepad or index cards. 4. Pen or pencils. 5. Highlighter. 6. Dictionary. 7. Timer. 8. Large mirror. 9. Tape recorder. 10. Folder. Follow these steps when preparing your lesson. 1. Read the lesson. Don't just browse over the material, but study it thoroughly. I recommend you read it at least 3 times. This is important because you might miss valuable points if you just glance over the materials. 2. Highlight key points. Use a highlighter to mark areas of importance in the lesson that need to be stressed. When you are ready to present the lesson to your students, you will automatically know what areas on which you should expand. 3. Think like a child. Write your presentation for its intended audience. You can arrange an excellent presentation, but if you haven't geared it to reach the specific age group you are teaching, then you will have wasted your time and theirs. 4. Make a list of questions. Think of some questions concerning the lesson that children might ask you. Write down the questions and answers on index cards. This will save you the time of looking up the answers later. 5. Write down personal experiences. Think of some personal experiences that you have had that relate to the lesson. Write them down and be ready to share. Children can relate to the subject more easily when they have an example. Bible stories are great, but they happen so long ago that the story appears distant to the child. 6. Rehearse the presentation. Once you have composed the lesson as a presentation, rehearse it. Stand in front of a full-length mirror and rehearse the lesson. Listen for sentences that might not sound right to the listener's ears or that you falter over when speaking. Stumbling through a presentation will cause the listener to lose focus. 7. Record the lesson. As you rehearse it, record the lesson on a tape recorder. This will give you an idea of how the presentation will sound to your audience. Play it back and see if there are areas that need improvement. Listen to your voice's tone. Is the voice you are using going to capture your audience's attention or put them to sleep? 8. Time the presentation. Once you have rehearsed the presentation and are comfortable with it, then go through it one more time and using a timer, time the presentation. Knowing the amount of time the presentation will take will help you with planning and scheduling the rest of your activities. 9. Store the presentation. Place the lesson, the question and answer cards, and notes all into one folder. Having all this information together in the order you wish to present it will make the task of teaching the lesson so much easier. 10. Put the presentation in a safe place. If at all possible, I recommend that you take the finished presentation to the church prior to Sunday morning. Keep it in a filing cabinet or somewhere it will be safe. Losing a presentation or forgetting it at home will require you to come up with something at the last minute for which you haven't prepared in advance. 11. Prepare your craft ahead of time. Having everything prepared for your craft ahead of time will ensure that each child has everything they need to complete their craft. Craft time can be an extremely busy time. Children usually require a lot of assistance from the teacher. when the teacher spends a lot of time passing out materials that are needed to assemble the craft. This takes time away from assisting children who require help. An unfinished craft will easily discourage a child. Have these items ready to prepare your craft. 1. All materials pertaining to the craft. 2. Ziploc bags or brown lunch bags. 3. Stapler. 4. Scissors. 5. Timer. 6. Carrying container such as a box or large bag. Follow these step-by-step instructions on how to prepare the craft. 1. Put all pieces of the craft in individual piles. For example, popsicle sticks in one pile, cutouts in another pile, pipe cleaners in another pile, and so on. 2. One bag at a time, place one piece of each item into the bag until the bag has every component needed to assemble the craft. 3. Staple or ziplock the bags. 4. Place finished bags in a container. 5. Assemble the craft yourself. 6. Time how long it takes to assemble the craft. Having an assembled craft will allow the child to see how the craft should look when it is finished. It will also help you to understand how easy or difficult the craft will be for the child. Timing yourself will give you an idea of how much time needs to be allotted, and it will help you to plan that time accordingly. Prepare your activities. Activities can include anything from performing a skit to playing a game or sport or having a Bible verse contest. Whatever you decide to do, you should choose an activity that allows the child some form of movement. Children become restless and bored easily, and restless or bored children will allow their mind to wander and will not pay attention to what is being taught. An activity that correlates with the lesson is recommended. I have compiled a list of some suggested activities and how to prepare for them. Charades. What you will need. The lesson. Index cards. Fine point marker. Hat or basket. Timer. 1. Begin by finding characters, animals, or objects that were mentioned in the lesson. 2. Use a fine point marker to write down one character on an index card. 3. Use a fine point marker to write down one animal on an index card. 4. Use a fine point marker to write down one object on an index card. 5. Repeat steps 2 to 4 until you have prepared enough cards. Always make a few extras. 6. Fold cards in half. 7. Place cards in a hat or basket. 8. Store cards in the classroom, in the hat or basket, where they are easily accessible. How to play. 1. Make a quick list of the children who are playing. 2. Instruct the children not to share what their card says with the other children. 3. Have each child draw out a card from the hat or basket. 4. One at a time, have the children act out what is written on their cards. 5. Allot a specific amount of time for each child to act out the charade. 6. When a child has guessed the charade correctly, place a check mark next to their name. 7. When everyone has had a turn acting, check the list to see if anyone has guessed more charades correctly. 8. Award the winner with a prize. Have smaller prizes available for the rest of the class. Soccer. What you will need. The Bible verse that correlates with the lesson. Soccer ball. Weather report. Before planning, make sure the weather will be ideal for this activity. How to play. 1. Have the children review the Bible verse several times by saying it aloud. 2. Tell the children where the verse is found in the Bible. 3. Divide the class into 2 teams. 4. Flip a coin to decide which team goes first. 5. Instruct the children that they must yell out where the verse can be found. Example, John 3:16, when they kick the ball through the goal. Failure to do so will disqualify the goal points. 6. Keep score. 7. Award prizes. Nature hike. What you will need. Pencils and paper.